Alright, guys, are we live? Can we hear? I think we can. Or, okay, I got this little thing. Alright, guys, so hello again. And, you know, it's been a while, but not really a while. I've been doing videos and stuff, but I've really upped the writing again. And just and I'm doing, 10,000 words a day and stuff. I'll just start with this. All you idiots that troll me as he's this, he's that. I wrote about this before. Y'all copy me. Y'all steal my ideas or try to in a very lame manner, but it doesn't work because the universe recognizes authenticity. Can you even do a fraction of, this is to my losers and trolls, even a tiny fraction of what I do? Like all these videos, all this writing, all these intense workouts. People are like, how do you find time to do all this? It's because I work 18 hours a day, I don't sleep, and, all that. But this isn't, that isn't, that's different. We've covered that so often, the first thing, although the masculinity section, I recently categorized it. There's a lot more posts masculinity related on both of the sites. So you should research it. You know, uh, I don't know why people are so lazy. The only time they actually research is when they get triggered. So I make sure to trigger them a lot anyway. Otherwise, if you tell somebody, do your research, they won't do it. It's weird. They want you to tell them everything for free. Anyway. And then when you tell them, then they'll argue with you, despite you being the expert, they'll argue with you. It's like, I didn't want a discussion, dude. I mean, you don't agree, you don't agree. That's why I said go research it. Some of these people will write back saying he does long emails. Yeah, they're long. They're not for idiots. They're for thinkers and people that can rationally remove emotion from something and logically dissect it. Because ultimately, life is logical. You know, ask any woman when her money gets taken away. She'll turn into from the most irrational creature into the most logical creature ever. Anyway, let's see what else is new. Man, I've been writing so much on the two sites and all that, but what else is new? Let's see. Yeah, what I really wanted to cover in this one is something a lot of you, and I've covered it before, but I want to cover it a little in depth. A lot of free information. It's about hashtags, views, and engagement, okay? And I'm just going to give you the skinny, no pun, you know, on it. And, uh, before that, our friend, our pal, our good pal, Ben Gay, this guy is so stupid. I'll give you an example of two stupid people meant for each other, really. First of all, it's Ben Gay. Now, I've been promoting my sexuality business and all these other things for years, openly, very openly, And this idiot, I've given him so many clues, he still couldn't find it. It's like those idiots I spoke about on the website that, oh, I saw your photo on Facebook, and, after I made some sneaky changes, they can't find shit of me on the internet. Although there's so much of me on the internet, but the average bozo cannot find it. Now, I guess I could make it. Some things they can find, But, there are people that just look at pictures. They won't read anything. Yeah, but great. But I don't sell to those kind of people. And, uh, so this guy has this idea of me cosplaying as a woman. He likes me, right? He likes my feet, my cock, and all this. And we've spoken about all this. He's a closet faggot, basically. Closet gay guy. Dress up, all that. We've spoken about all that. Research Ben Gay, Ben Bird on the website. Ben Hen, did I ever sell many of my products? That kind of thing. And as of late, he's got a certain fantasy. A Spanish girl. Her name is Lola. Hola, 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 Lola. Danny used to be like, hola, Lola. Daniela. She's a great translator and a Spanish girl. Originally from Venezuela. Uh, And it's funny, and that's that, and he has this idea that Danny and Ola and Lola and all these other girls are actually me in AI. Dude, do I look like I do AI? Can you find one picture of me with AI? No, you can't, because there's none. I don't use AI. I mean, this guy is so gay. He uses AI to write posts that, I mean, his writing is terrible. You can't read it. It's just, it's like long, not the length, but the content. I mean, you feel words have a vibe, and his vibe is just beaten down, lost, typical cocked male. And I don't even, he used to work for me, so I had to read some of it. Then I fired him. I'm very glad I did. You know, uh, and how stupid do you have to be? I had to literally tell him this name for him to finally get on Google, and even then, it took him several months to finally figure it out, and he hasn't fully. That is a cousin of mine. I mean, it's blindingly obvious. The face is different, the body is different, everything is different. The reality is that those pictures I showed you guys of Ben Gay, those are real. I mean, you can look at him sitting there like Buddha with mantids hanging, and then, his face and everything. All that is real, and he's coping. It's weird, man. What? I mean, it's, everyone has these fantasies and all that, but nobody wants to admit it. And I make a lot of money off of both people that do want to admit it and don't want to admit it. But, you know, so that's been going on. It's hilarious. I love it. And he has no idea what he's getting himself into, especially at this point, like I told him. But that's fine. If the goat is being led, the lambs, you either lead them to slaughter or they willingly come. Either way, they're slaughtered. I'm not even leading this guy. He's willingly coming. So, I mean, what can I say? I've given him so many warnings, but. So that's new. Oh, the other idiot, this India girl known as Divija Basin. But man, I've spoken about, how feminists and cucks and liberals are all reality-denying hypocrites and bozos that turn on their own kind, women in general, that I just described women in general. And liberals and cucks, they're all birds of the same feather, as I wrote about. But this one, I don't know, she wants to be known as the Bonnie Blue of India, and she's ugly, she's got buck teeth, and, she posts all these provocative pictures, which every girl does. So, she's one of these sorts, she's supposed to be a shrink. So I can outshrink any shrink on the planet, and they all know it, but this one, I could just look at her and I could outshrink her. This one, I wouldn't even need to talk, But, the level of lunacy that I wrote about, and I just want to say this because I wrote about it, this one, I mean, I don't blame her for wanting views and all this, but she got to do it right, and, I've spoken so much about these temp Instagram influencers and all that get all these views. One fine day, they're kicked off, and, they're back to square one. Her psychology practice obviously failed, so she wanted to be Bonnie Blue, which is why she's, and it's easy money for a while, and then she'll find some man to settle down with. She'll forget all about feminism and all the garbage. But feminists are garbage anyway, and they're hypocritical and lunatic. But this one, I'll just point out one post, man, and, it's fine if you want to do your OnlyFans and sexuality and all that, but you know what? I'll tell you the real deal there. And she's feminist too. Women are all feminist at the core of it when it really comes. But I respect the ones that actually do something and make something of themselves. And this girl, this actress, nobody talks about her, but I've spoken about her many times before. A certain Sunny Leone. Now that's what you call class mixed in with feminism. Now, she finally, and you can read all about her, but all the rest of these, Bonnie Blue also, she's like a British version of her. Bonnie Blue is very honest, very candid, and I respect that honesty. Now, she openly says she made the choice to be a prostitute, and, it's you can dance around the point, but it's that service, there's a demand. She's providing a service and she's just very good at it. 1,000 men in a night or whatever. I don't know if she actually did that. You can debate morality, but at the end of the day, it's just logic. Anyway, so this bozo from India, and by the way, before you call me racist, Leon is, I believe, half Punjabi or I Punjabi Canadian or something, you know. So don't call me racist. I'm a brown Habib sand nigger. I ain't no racist, man. I'm not. But anyway, her post was if or her and I'm just gonna cover one because it's just so lunatic, like loony. If your dad, like, okay, if a dad, when you're a little boy, like little boys and girls, if your dad undresses in front of you but your mom doesn't, then it's misogyny. Now, how stupid do you have to be? It's blindingly obvious. Women undress in front of their female daughters all the time. Men sometimes do it in front of, you have locker rooms, you have all this, I mean, I've said this so many times, but she won't say of an adult mother undressing in front of her child is misandry. That's one hypocritical part of it. It's just attacking men as usual. The other thing, and I've mentioned this so she's like sexualization of women's breasts. Well, hell, they were meant to be sexualized. Well, why do you show yourself off? I mean, why do you have all these provocative pictures, cleavage? Oh, I look so beautiful. No, you don't look, you don't do it because you think you look beautiful. You do it because men look at you and, they sympathy you. It's that simple. And you want to get on OnlyFans. It's that simple. I mean, cut it any way which way you like. But uh, you know, sexuality is not, people are not born gay, lesbian, transgender, anything. A baby is born with a blank slate. Your sexuality is determined mentally. The first 5 years of your upbringing. Most men will turn feminist these days. Most women will these days. Exceptions to the rule, like yours truly, turn into psychopaths, and we're proud psychopaths and the best in the world, and it's under President Trump, the best president ever. It's truly psycho time. I've said it. Anyway, so uh, there was another point I was going to bring up, but a dad undressing in front of a boy, you just see what your penis will look like when you grow up. You don't feel any sexual anything. These women are so perverted, man. And they have all these fetishes and fantasies that they don't want to, and they're not comfortable with it. So then they, attack people. And there's nothing either misandrist or misogynist about any of that. It's natural, these are the same people that'll advocate men in women's bathrooms, chopping your kids', balls off and all this, and pride rallies. We are coming for your kids. Look, there's nothing wrong with LGBTQ in the bedroom. Keep it in the bedroom. Nobody cares. That's what it is. But you can't, But yeah, I don't even remember what the other thing is that I wanted to say in this regard. But yeah, I do now. In ancient India, or these are the same people that keep talking about ancient Indian culture and how good it was, but they'll ignore the modern day reality of the country. You literally, and this is fact. Go Google it. Go fucking whatever it is, but it's fact. Look, anything you cover up automatically becomes an object of desire. It could be fucking bottles of moonshine during the prohibition. If you ban something, people will gravitate to it. And India is the most hypocritical in the modern day in terms of sexuality. Now, back in the day, yeah, the Kama Sutra and all that. I'm not sure if I agree with all the bestiality on the temples in Khajuraho. I don't agree with that shit at all. You don't fuck cows. Maybe Ben would. But, their point wasn't that. Their point was sexuality should be open. And there was no crime. There was no... Now, another reason, because India back in the day was an extremely rich country. So, that was another reason. But they had this rule that women in general couldn't cover their breasts. And if their breasts were too big, there was a breast tax. This is fact. And it was only the nobility. I guess that's why I'm sitting here in my fine Trump robes, and that's why, everybody gets so triggered when I roam about in my underwear because I'm Emperor Sir, and I'm supposed to be of a high social class and cover myself, but I don't give two shits, guys. Anyway, um, I'm a man first and foremost, And anyway, you know, uh, it was only women of nobility that were permitted to cover their boobs. Okay, and there's been cases, you can research it, that lower class women dared, quote unquote, to cover their boobs, and they just chopped it off. It's brutal, but it happened. It happened in your ancient India. That's just ancient life was brutal anywhere in the world. So I'm not pointing out India in particular. I mean, burning witches at the stake, crucifixion, all that. That's not India. That's. So that was. But my point is simple. People have all these foot fetishes, they have ass fetishes, and feet are not covered, right? Yet you have so many bozos like Ben into feet, right? Where's the logic? There's no logic here, okay? And she knows it, and she knows, you know, and they're into feet because boobs and these things are covered, and plus the feminist thing, and we'll get into that discussion later, why people have a fetish and all that. But I've already explained it in on my other, so and last but not least, if a man covers up, men walk around shirtless. You women sexualize sexy guys like me walking around shirtless. And then you're saying, it's misogyny if a little kid sees his dad and dress up there. And it's like, no goose and gander for these people. They just want views. They just want to be known as duffer of the millennium. That's what this basin, fucking wash basin, Divija is. I mean, she's literally duffer of the millennium. She's even stupider than Ben, if you can believe this. And Ben plunges the depths of total lunacy and stupidity. This one is even more garbage and stupid, with her statements. Now, maybe she's trying to be duffer of the millennium, and in that case, more power to her. Hey, whatever gets you rich and famous, except you're not rich and your fame is about to go bye-bye. And it's not real fame. People are just laughing at you. Anyway, uh, you failed in your shrink practice. Your mother would be ashamed of you, Miss Basin. It's that simple. With your comments, and ask her, she'll tell you. Anyway, my point, okay, so what I really wanted to do this one, a lot of you, especially these days, all hooked on to social media. And of course, I do the opposite. I'm back to old school writing, meaningless followers, people will beg for followers. Follow me back. It's not just Ben, by the way. He's just, then for the views, then for the engagement, I'm just going to tell you one thing. Hashtags, and it's not, I'm not going to give away my important secrets, but I give it, or maybe I will, but, I get more engagement on my writing, my posts, anything, whether I use hashtags or not, on everything I do. Walking down the road, I've always been the kind of guy that attracts, attention. I don't know why. Preston Trump is the only other guy. He's like an older Habib porn star. There is no other guy on the planet I can identify as strongly with, and that's why he's so popular, because a lot of guys identify with him. But best president ever, ahead of Reagan, because he's been attacked so much. Reagan was never attacked so much, although I love Reagan too. But, and so, this woman, red-headed woman, she got triggered by one of my posts and, on masculinity. And, typical, she didn't address anything in the post, and she was typical rant. I can't even remember what it is. If y'all want, I'll post the screenshots and all that. I've got them. But I mean, I don't even, but she made this interesting comment. You're hiding behind hashtags. Look, you idiot, hashtags are meant to get your stuff out. How the fuck am I hiding behind anything? You're an idiot. And, I mean, should the burning, I'll give you something. I know you haters and trolls watch these videos because, deep down inside, I make sense. And so you distill for free what you can, and you try and use it, but you fail. Anyway, Elon Musk told you on Twitter not to use hashtags, right? Now, Elon is Elon. You're not going to argue with him. It's his platform, the richest man in the world. But I still use them. It's not a one size fits all thing. And, if you're Ben Gay sitting there, all these meaningless hashtags, and despite all your begged for followers, you get no support when you need it. Nobody cares about your shit. You get 0 views or maybe 2 views with, what is it, 1,200, 1,300, people. Nobody cares, Ben. Nobody cares. Or you'd get the views. And you're not shadow banned. You're an LGBTQ maniac. They're actually promoting your type of content. Me, I'm banned, shadow banned, everything, but my views simply shoot through the roof. You've seen the stats. So my point is, all this thing about views, like, it's not necessarily how much you view. A lot of those views are bots these days, okay? It's your engagement that counts. And even engagement these days, man, I'm going to tell you, social media is so fucking dead. And by the end of Trump's 4 years, probably it'll all be gone. I can't guarantee that, but it'll probably be gone. And a lot of it is bots. These days, you can't tell. I mean, a lot of bots, I can tell because I'm in that field, but you guys won't be able to tell. And should you use hashtags? Should you not use hashtags? It depends. I mean, I would say use them. Because, ultimately, people are still using them. At the time Elon said it, he was kind of hoping, and he's right, actually, because you should let your content get reach organically. But that's X, and then different platforms have different rules, and they're evolving, and this and that. For me, I just do it on a case-by-case basis if I feel like using it. So I don't hide behind hashtags. I don't hide behind shit. You see me hiding? So, that's the last thing I've ever done in my life, except I don't talk to people. Yeah, I hide from people that, because they're so bloody annoying. And, but other than that, I don't hide, man. And, your engagement is the far more important metric. However, there are far more important things than even engagement. It's ultimately about, does that engagement lead to sales? My sites, I have blocked them. I don't want customers from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Sites have been blocked for over a year. I don't want them because they're all the freebie cheap. They just want stuff for free. They're not willing to pay for quality, and especially in countries, I don't know about Pakistan. I'm not sure. I've never been there. But countries like India, it's like, sasta or tikau is all what they say, which means cheap and durable. Now, you can get cheap and durable, and I guess if your thing of quality is durable, now if you're buying a fucking plastic chair, then you buy cheap and durable, if you're buying a bar of soap. But if you're buying specialized knowledge, it ain't gonna be cheap. And the durable part doesn't. So that's, but that's how the country, that's how people are. And so it's banned, blocked, It's ultimately about how much money you make, okay? And the universe recognizes authenticity. I could tomorrow completely stop using hashtags. It's highly annoying, type in those things and I'd still get the same number of, or maybe even more views or something, So I'm not hiding behind anything. I mean, that's just a recent something that came. And that was what I really wanted to talk about. Plus the death of social media. The death of social media in general. And yeah, so should you or should you not use the hashtag? I would say go for it. I mean, because, if you're one of these people, but again, you have to be authentic. You could have all the fucking hashtags in your post, like Ben Gay is a perfect example, and you're not going to really generate any attention unless they're authentic. And that's it, fellas. That's it. You know, hashtags and a few updates. Uh, let's see. We covered everything. Yep, rather short one. My videos are normally hours long, but that's it. And I'll see y'all later.